Okay, in a previous video, we talked about how to back up an SQL database. Now let's talk about how we would restore a database. So there's a couple of different options. We've used a restore before when we restored our AdventureWorks database, which is how we got it into our SQL Server. So if I want to restore an existing database, so data's been corrupted, something's been deleted, something like that, I'll right-click on the database, go to Tasks, and Restore. And then I can choose to restore a database, a file or file group, a transaction log, or a specific page. Now, the files and file groups and specific pages, they're useful if I don't want to do a full restore, right? If I have just one corrupted page and I can find that one page and restore that, that's much less intensive than restoring an entire database. And consequently, potentially losing data depending on how our backup and recovery was set. Files and file groups kind of similar. If I can restore the file or file group rather than having to restore the entire database, so much the better. But I want to come in here and show you how we can restore a database. And this is actually really nice. Notice the little flag up here, a tail log backup. A tail log backup of the source database will be taken. Basically, when you do a restore, it backs up the very last little bit of the log that has not yet had a chance to back up yet. That's the tail of the log backup. And it's just telling you, hey, we're going to run that beforehand. So we've got a couple of different ways we can restore. We can restore a database. We can restore from a particular device, which is helpful if we don't have a database in here that we're working with. We're trying to bring one back. And then we can restore to a couple of different things. So here you'll see, do I want to restore, okay, if I uncheck my full backup, notice it takes everything away. Do I want to restore my latest full backup, my latest differential backup, my latest transaction log backup? And if I had multiple transaction logs, they'd show up here. And then in a good backup strategy, so we have full, differential, transaction logs, differential, transaction logs, differential, transaction logs, full, and then we'd keep going. So you pick where you want to restore to, and you can do it one of two ways. You can pick the file. I want to restore to this particular point in the transaction log, which is convenient. But even better is we have this point in time restoration, and that's what this is. So let me show you what I mean here. If I didn't want to restore the transaction log, I wanted to restore to this point, there we go, it would give me my latest full backup, my latest differential backup, and then it would skip anything in my transaction logs. So anything that's happened after this differential backup, I would miss. All right. Now the point in time, I can set a specific time, or I can go here to my timeline. Now, what we should see, and I just did these back to back to back, so we really have a hard time seeing this. But here we will see where the latest full database backup was, where the latest differential backup was, maybe another differential here, and here's where we're at right now. So by using this, I can specify anywhere in here that I want to back up to. Let me back up to the last backup taken or to a specific date and time. And that's what we mean by a point in time restore. So I can say, my database got corrupted at 3:15, so I want to back up to or restore to just before that. And then my timeline interval can be in days, in 6-hour windows, in hour-long windows. The idea, I can get really, really precise with where I want to restore this to. And that's a benefit of having that full backup, that, I just lost the name of it, having that full recovery model, is it gives me the ability to do transaction log backups and then enables things like this point in time recovery. Also notice, by the way, it'll show you your transaction log backups and tail of the log backups. I pointed these two out, but not these two. Okay, so that's how this point in time recovery thing works. And then it backs up the latest full backup, the latest differential backup, and then replays the log files up until that point where you said, this is what I want to restore to. So obviously this is, I just ran these off so I don't have a live database to really show a nice recovery to, but this does give you an idea of how we can use that recovery to restore data that we may have lost in our SQL server.